City of Millville Commission meeting for October 17. Time is 6:34 p.m. I call this meeting to order. Roll call.
Mayor Santiago.
Here.
Commissioner Ennis.
Here.
Commissioner Davis.
Here.
Commissioner Perka-Camperi.
Here.
Commissioner Sui.
Here.
I'd like to call up Reverend Jack Fossburner of Trinity United Methodist Church for the invocation and the salute to the flag. Please stand.
Good evening, everybody. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this time that we can come out, Lord. I just ask you to be with the mayor and the council, Lord, as they look to do the work for the city in the best interest of the people, Lord. And I just ask you to give them unity. Lord, I also ask you to be with our EMS, our fire, our police, and those that are out on the street, that you just might watch over them and keep them safe. I ask you also to bring peace over our city. In Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. This meeting is being conducted in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act of 1975, was advertised, posted, and made available to the public as required by law. The municipal clerk is directed to include a statement in the minutes of this meeting. Madam Clerk, are there any changes to the agenda?
There were a couple, Mayor. Resolution item 6 was removed because we did not receive the pay-to-play documents within the 10-day requirement of the meeting. Resolution item 10 was added to purchase a dump truck for the sewer department. New business item 4 was added to approve a truck pull and dirt drag event at the Cumberland County Fairgrounds. New business item 5 was added to authorize the city attorney to do a title search for a property for the FAA lease agreement for an outer marker of the airport. And we updated new business item 3 to remove 2 items from the RFP's list to be advertised.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Get the minutes to be approved.
Move to approve and dispense with the reading of the minutes for the work session of October 3rd, 2017, the regular session meeting of October 2017.
Second.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perka-Camperi?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Bills, please.
Move we pay the bills.
Second. Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perka-Camperi?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries.
We've now reached the public comment on the agenda items only. Anyone that would like to speak on an agenda item, please step up to the mic, state your name, your concerns, and limit your comments to 5 minutes, please. Seeing no one, I close the public comment on agenda items only. Old business, please.
There is no old business tonight, Mayor.
Petitions and letters.
We have a letter from the Department of the Army, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers regarding Block 124, Lot 16 on Buckshootum Road, and Block 125, Lot 5 on Cedar Street, explaining that military munitions may be present on or near the said property.
Move to receive and file.
Second. Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perka-Camperi?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Reports of commissioners. Commissioner Davis.
Yeah, I just want to recap something that happened earlier today at the work session. Inspira came, spoke to us again, presented us with a PowerPoint program. There's still a lot of unanswered questions, and my concern has been and is that we're not getting the 911 service that we should be getting from Inspira. I don't know if I'm ever going to be satisfied with their answers. I think there's still many more answers to be given to all of us, to you, the public, because people are calling with their concerns, and I'm very concerned. Fortunately, I have never needed an ambulance, but we call out 20 ambulances a day in the city of Millville on average, and it could affect any one of us at any time. Hopefully, they'll come up with some better answers for some better service. They did say that the people who had purchased contracts with them, or like an insurance policy with them for ambulance service, will be good through this year, but they didn't indicate that they will be able to do it next year. I think that's still pending. They have their legal team looking at that. Thank you.
Commissioner Sui.
Yeah, the events, we have the Pumpkin Extravaganza this weekend, Saturday, October 21st at Corson Park from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. The costume parade, pumpkin decorating, games, and music. Also, Holly City Walking Club is every Tuesday and Thursday from 6:30 to 7:30 at Lakeside. And just remember, if there's no school, there's no walking. Progress.
Thank you. Commissioner Ennis.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to share from a thought. Is that paper? Here it is. Yes. The police, fire, OEM, and Inspira are joining together to sponsor a trunk or treat in the parking lot of the First Methodist Church at 3rd and Pine Street on October 31st from 4 to 7. And I also want to just elaborate a little bit about the mobile unit. We've been talking about that unit that was purchased by the city nearly 10 years ago, and I've been talking with the chief about it, and he agrees that it would be a great thing to mobilize that unit during time of crime in the city. But he's also stressed that there is still a shortage of manpower, and I have a document here that I want to read from the chief of police. The mobile command unit was purchased through a Homeland Security grant after the attacks of 9/11 and was designed to be used as a major events or catastrophes. For example, the Millville Air Show, large gatherings such as Millville High School football games, major weather events or incidents where law enforcement officers have to be at a crime scene for a long period of time. I'm not opposed to using the vehicle in center city neighborhoods. However, it requires manpower. I have repeatedly stressed the Millville Police Department is undermanned and is in need of more officers. If our police department had additional officers, we could have a narcotics unit and a traffic safety unit that could utilize IM9 when needed. IM9 requires a driver, that's the command vehicle, and officers assigned to the same. That would require taking officers off their shift, patrolling the city, leaving the shift short, thereby jeopardizing the safety of our citizens. There are those that will say it could be assigned as an overtime detail, but that requires money, and money that the police department currently does not have. The vehicle also currently needs an equipment update, which will be accomplished in the very near future. So pretty much that says it all. And having worked in law enforcement, I was in law enforcement for 7 years, and a lot of times what appears to be acceptable and normal to a person who's not involved in law enforcement, you have to sit in that seat. And even though I have the authority to enforce that they move this vehicle, I did not do that because I understand exactly where things are. And I'm going to say this. We cannot continue to say we're not going to raise their taxes, because what the chief is saying, he does not have the manpower. Nobody wants to see taxes increase, but our chief financial officer has stressed it numerous times over my 4-year tenure that we're going to run into a serious problem down the road if we continue doing business the way that we are. And I think if you have an eye to see what's going on globally, it's impossible to run a city and never raise taxes. It's just impossible. When everything else is going up and we want full protection, we want the best of everything, but yet as soon as we talk about raising taxes, oh no, don't do that. Well, as a politician going out the door, let me tell you this. The reason why I never promised to people that I would not raise taxes is because I'm not going to lie to you. Because if I tell you I'm not going to raise your taxes, there's another part I have to tell you. When you don't have police coverage, it's because of the promise I made you. I'm not going to raise your taxes. When your streets are filled with holes and your water infrastructure is out of control, it's because of my promise. So I never made that promise. I believe that we all want to be sound and economically wise, but we have to be realists. And I'm in agreement with the chief. I think it would be great to move that vehicle, but he doesn't have the manpower. So if we get people out there moving that vehicle and we're taken away from other areas of the city, we're going to have a problem. I thought it was necessary tonight to to bring that to your attention, that we need to start thinking with a new thought. Mayor, that concludes my announcements.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Perry.
Yes, we've been working on getting reimbursed for the loans that had never been paid back to us. What happens when we get certain grants, we do the work, we're supposed to submit it for reimbursement from the federal government. The reimbursement part was never done. So we just finished the paperwork for that. That'll be going up. That'll be about $40,000 of income to the city. Also, the court is rapidly cleaning up the backlog, which I'm very happy about. They had $14,000 worth of back tickets, fines assessed this week in court. That was in one morning, so they're cleaning up a backlog that's been over a year old. So what happens when they write a violation, it goes to court, things aren't getting done because it was backlogged in the court system. That's being taken care of. So things should start looking better that way. And I just wanted to say to Commissioner Ennis, we were able to add 12 police officers, and we were also able to do numerous infrastructure repairs without increasing taxes. So hopefully we can continue along that course. Progress.
Thank you, Commissioner. I have progress. Can we go right into ordinances with second reading?
Yes, Mayor.
I'm sorry, I need to receive and file the tax collector's monthly report for September.
Second the motion.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Roll call, Big Cat.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perka-Compare?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay, so ordinance on second reading. Item 1 is ordinance amending the municipal code of the City of Millville, Chapter 30, Land Use and Development Regulations, Article 18, Special Use Design and Performance Standards, Section 218, Shopping Centers, changing the minimum acreage requirements for regional shopping centers from 30 acres to 20 acres.
Move the ordinance on second reading.
Second the motion.
We open this up for public hearing. This is in reference to shopping centers, changing the minimal acreage requirements for regional shopping centers from 30 acres to 20 acres. Anyone wants to comment on this, please step up to the mic, state your name and your concerns, and limit your comments to 5 minutes, please. Seeing no one, I close the public hearing on ordinance 1.
I have a comment.
Oh, go ahead.
This is another way to bring businesses into the city and increase ratables, which shopping centers don't require as much as, say, 10 houses would in the case of expenditures. So this is another way that you can increase revenue without raising taxes. And I appreciate everybody that supported this so far.
Anyone else? Thank you, Commissioner.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perka-Compare?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Ordinance on first reading, please.
We have an ordinance amending Chapter 39, Motor Vehicle and Traffic Regulations to add the following: parking reserved for handicapped persons located at 322 South 5th Street, placard number P1827889.
Move the ordinance on first reading with second reading on November 8th.
So moved.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perka-Compare?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Resolutions, please.
Okay, item 1 is a resolution approving taxi cab operator license application for the following applicant: Michael Weber.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perka-Compare?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 2 is a resolution authorizing changes to the tax and utility records.
Move
Move-
resolution.
Second.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perka-Compare?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 3 is a resolution authorizing discharge of mortgage at the request of Edward J. Lee, owner of property located at Block 356, Lot 9, known as 516-518 North High Street, as said mortgage has been paid in full.
Move the resolution.
Second the motion.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perka-Compare?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 4 is a resolution authorizing the Chief Financial Officer to file with the Director of Local Government Services for the insertion of a special item of revenue, Chapter 159, for the New Jersey Division of Criminal Justice Body Armor Grant in the amount of $6,847.26.
Move resolution.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Anyone else? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perka-Compare?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 5 is a resolution authorizing cancellation of various outstanding accounts, contracts payable, or encumbrances with balances upon the proper investigation and determination by the Chief Financial Officer.
Move the resolution.
Second the motion.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perka-Compare?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 6 was removed. So item 7 is a resolution authorizing special assessments to be placed on certain properties due to expenses incurred by the City of Millville relating to board and secure pursuant to Chapter 11, Article 1, and subsection 11-6 of the Municipal Code.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Any comments? That was second by Pereka-Compare.
Oh, thank you.
Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perka-Compare?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 8 is a resolution authorizing assessments to be placed on certain properties due to expenses incurred relating to cut and clean pursuant to Chapter 11, Article 6 of the Municipal Code.
Move the resolution.
Second the motion.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perka-Compare?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 9 is a resolution authorizing the purchase of a 2018 Ford F-450 cab and crew cab 4x4 from Winter Ford of Cherry Hill through the state contract at the cost of $49,683.
Move the resolution and I have certification of funds in the amount of $49,683 signed by the Chief Financial Officer, Marcellus Shepard.
Second the motion.
Any comments?
Yeah, we had actually 3 trucks that were wrecked this year in automobile accidents. None the fault of our employees. One was a head-on collision from a crossover. One got banged by somebody going too fast in the back. And I forget what the third one was for, but those 2 are the ones on here. So they needed to be replaced, unfortunately. They were totaled. We have some vehicles that were running from 1987. So it's,
Needed.
needs it.
Anyone else? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perka-Compare?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 11 is a resolution authorizing the purchase of one 2018 Ford F-450 cab and chassis crew cab 4x4 from Winter Ford of Cherry Hill through state contract at the cost of $54,633. And the additional money, I would believe, was for a stainless steel.
Yes. Stainless steel bottle.
Right.
Just a second, I want to make sure I got the right one here. Yeah, move the resolution, and I have certification of availability of funds for $54,633, signed by Marcellus Shepard.
So moved.
Comments? I'll make a comment. Something that the sewer department needed. As we said, it's got a stainless steel body, which is going to work out for them even better. Any other comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perka-Compare?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries.
New business, please.
Make a motion to authorize the following special event on public lands applications: the Soul of the Season 7th Annual Holiday Event, sponsored by the Millville Development Corporation on December 9th, from High from Main to Broadway to the library complex, and the Back to School Family Event on October 18th, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., sponsored by, Centro
Comprensimo.
Anybody know how to say that?
Comprensimo Cristiano
Thank you.
Church.
At 2 Plaza on Sassafras Street to North High Street, pending appropriate approvals.
Second the motion.
Any comments? You're welcome, Joe. Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Perka-Compare?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Make a motion to authorize the city clerk to advertise for bids for the project known as Marlin Terrace drainage improvements, with said bids to be returned no later than November 30th at 10 a.m.
Second.
Any comments?
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, please. Go
No,
ahead.
I'm very happy that this is finally going through. This was 20 years to get this done. Correct? It's because they've been having issues for the past 20 years, and I'm happy that this commission could take care of it.
Joe?
Well, that's what I was going to say. So
Oh,
sorry.
sorry.
Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Precca Compare?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Can I do this one? Motion authorizing the city clerk to advertise to accept proposals for requests for proposals for the professionals for the calendar year 2018, no later than November 21st, 2017 at 10 a.m.
Second the motion.
Any comments?
We are just getting this in place. This commission will not be voting on who gets the bid. That'll be decided by the new commission.
Anyone else? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Precca Compare?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Make a motion to authorize the city attorney to conduct a title search for vacant lot on Clarks Pond Road in Fairfield Township regarding a lease agreement for outer marker of the Millville Airport.
Wait,
Second.
Did you do?
We skipped one, but
We
we'll
skipped
go back.
one. All right, that's
we can
okay.
go
We'll
back.
go
Sorry.
backwards.
We're doing 5. Everybody on board? We're doing 5.
Number 4?
Going to do
Well,
5.
number 5 first? Okay.
Yeah, let's do 5. You already read it, right?
Okay, you got
Yeah,
it.
I read it.
Second.
Any comments?
Brock, do you want to explain that, please?
Yes. Good
Yeah,
point.
there's an existing lease agreement that had a 20-year term, and it's between the city and a property owner, actually in another township, in Fairfield Township, and it's part of the airport marking system for runway number 10, I believe. And then there's a sublease between the city and the FAA, also for 20 years. There's really not any money that's changing hands. I think it's $400 a year is what the consideration is of the lease. Well, that lease just expired, and we've had difficulty finding the owner of the property in Fairfield Township where this marker is. So we need to do further investigation, and part of that's going to be to conduct a title examination, and then hopefully we can find somebody that can sign the lease agreement with us. The FAA is really pressing us to get that done.
Anything else? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Precca Compare?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes, let's go to item 4, new business.
You want to do that one since I messed up the last one?
Okay. Motion to authorize the following event to be held at the Cumberland County Fairgrounds, a truck pull event, and it will be on November 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 2017.
Second the motion.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Ennis?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Precca Compare?
Yes.
Commissioner Sui?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries.
We've now reached the public portion of our meeting. Anyone who'd like to address the commission, please go to the podium, state your name and your address, and address your concerns, and please limit your comments to 5 minutes, please. Can you state your name, please? Can you state it again, please? Thank you. No, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you. Is it on? Hold on, Betty. It may not be on. That's why I can't hear you.
Yeah, sorry. There we go.
There you go. That's why.
Thank you.
There you are.
There we go.
Boy, I lose my train of thought. But at the same time, I want to thank Joe and Lynn for Commissioner Campari and Commissioner Sui, God forbid I do this wrong, for keeping the taxes, and all the commissioners that have kept the taxes where they were at for the past 4 years. But I do want to add that if you raise the taxes, we end up with more boarded up houses. And that's how we ended up, because the cost of living in New Jersey is so high. And especially Cumberland County being the poorest county, people can't afford to keep paying higher and higher taxes. The school raised it, the county raised it, and they raise it every year. So if this happens, you can look at seeing more and more people lose their homes. There was 500 and I think some foreclosures in Millville alone. So I don't know if there's another way to raise money. I know we need more policemen. And I would like to ask Mr. Santiago if he knows how many policemen we had when he took office,
It was in this 62 to 64.
and how many do we have today?
Well, if you count the ones that are in the academy now, Commissioner Ennis, I think we have 8 left.
That's correct.
8. That would give us about 20 in our term that we've put on the force.
So we have added,
We have added in the last 4 years. That's correct.
but the crime rate has gone up even with adding these officers.
I don't think our crime rate has raised in the county. Maybe some of our major crimes have.
No, I meant in the city.
That's what I mean. Maybe our major crimes have raised. Maybe homicides, aggravated assaults, sexual assaults.
Right.
Okay, but I think we're level there with the county. Some of our other smaller crimes, maybe I said that wrong. Our minor crimes might have been raised, shoplifting, things like that. But our major crimes are staying level.
Right. So 20 cops really didn't make it go down.
Do you want a magical number that I would like to see this police department at? I think I can make that
I
assumption.
could give you a magical number too. I'd like to see 120.
Well, that would be amazing, Betty. But 100 right now would be very, very good.
All right.
When
I
you
would
talk
like to-
about, and I don't want to take your time, when you talk about what the chief wants to do, because I know where his mindset is, he could do it with that amount of people.
Right. And I mean, how do you propose, like, to raise these taxes? How do you propose the people pay them? That's the thing that concerns me, because I know people are struggling now. And I don't know how we fix it.
Well, I think we have to get ratables. We have to build our economy. I'm not saying raising taxes. You're asking me if I'm raising taxes. Is that what
Sort
I'm
of.
saying? What we need to do is get more business in here, like the commissioners have said. We need to get business in here so we get more ratables, so we can hire more police officers.
No disrespect,
Go ahead.
but I've been hearing this for 30 years.
Okay.
So when I over and over, yeah, they pass ordinances that you can't have big box stores on High Street. They waste our money. There's no reason we shouldn't have a bakery, a bagel shop, a shoe store. There's no reason we shouldn't have those things downtown. They left this commission the past 20 years, people sitting in those seats. Just look at the pictures. They left this commission in a mess. They left this town in a mess. And it's sad. Because when I moved here, this town had a lot of stores. They had a department store. They had a Woolworths. They had bagel. They had a lot of banks, drugstores. I could go on and on. That's 29 years ago. Where's the progress? Now we have nothing but art and not much of that, and a theater, and millions of dollars spent on those blocks. That money could have paid for those 100 cops you want if we hadn't, you don't have to have brick sidewalks and all that, have a beautiful, safe city. Go to Mannion. They still have the original old concrete sidewalks. And the place is booming. No empty stores. It's beautiful, things going on. So let's just quit making the mistakes. We have commissioners sitting there now that aren't making mistakes. And I just pray to God they stay there because they're our only hope. Thank you.
Thank you, Betty.
Dean and Ferrer, City of Millville. First, as Betty just said, we need ratables. We had a Dollar General that wanted to come to the City of Millville. I don't think it was you guys. It was people in town didn't want them here. I don't know. I don't
They're coming,
understand it. I'm glad they are. I mean, here's a place that says we want to come to town. We want to pay taxes, and people don't want them to be here. They're afraid. But so we can't close our eyes and say, "Oh, we don't like this type of business," or "We like that kind of business." We got to take businesses that want to come here. And first, I want to thank Commissioner Ennis. I never had to deal with him. I see he's in public safety now, but when I retired, he wasn't there. But I think your heart's where in the last years you've been here, You did a great job.
Thank you.
The Lord knows what you did.
Thank you, sir.
And so, I don't think you came in here with an axe to grind. Thank you for everything you did.
No access. Thank you, sir.
No, and good luck to everybody else that's here. But I bring up the over the last few years, I'm using the Comcast bill, and I know, has the city, since the last time I was here, sent a letter of intent to Comcast to say, hey, we don't want to be on your agreement, because you do nothing for us but cause our taxpayers in town more money for what their service in reality, because FiOS says, hey, we like to come in, but we're not allowed because they have an agreement.
That's not true. FiOS could come in if they wanted to. I'm just telling you what I was told. I talked to Verizon. They have no plans to go any further.
But are we going to keep it?
Are we going to keep it? Comcast could stay here regardless. However, that agreement actually goes on another year. Upon digging through more files, there was another extension.
Have they paid the city now? I asked before. Nobody.
They had some. What did they have to do? They put the
per subscriber.
originally they put the original video system in here. I think is what they did.
It's
But
not?
It is,
It is.
and it's pretty it's very, very difficult unless we have enough citizens that are going to get involved, log all the complaints, take all those complaints, and I wish I could remember where they have to take them. Board of Public Utilities.
They sent me the list, and we didn't have a volume of complaints.
We didn't have, the volume of the complaints doesn't exist, so while, people complain about it to each other, to many others, very rarely do they come to the city and complain about it. It's kind of like social media. They'll say everything they want to say there, but when it comes to here, they're a little hesitant to do so.
Yeah, maybe it's something our attorney eventually can look into that act in there, because I know it does state that the city shall receive revenue per subscriber. And every time we ask, the city gets 0 per subscriber, but it states that in the
I don't recall
cable
saying
act.
that, but
I don't either.
Oh, it's in there.
The things it asked for, like the
yeah.
Yeah, it's in there. It says the city shall pay the city X amount or per subscriber.
Well, we'll check into that.
Yeah,
I don't
mean,
recall that, but
make
that
it a
doesn't mean it's
benefit to
not
the
there.
city, because right now there's not a benefit at all.
Dean, you're saying that it says the city should be paid?
The city shall be paid per subscriber of cable to Comcast. The city shall receive a percentage of that.
I'm not saying this to be a wise guy, but do you know where? Because there's a lot of documents to go with
It's
that.
under,
Anyway,
yeah, it's under the Cable Act, and I think if you search it,
I'm just asking
Under
if
the
you knew
Cable
where,
Act.
so it would
I
save
like
us
to
some
look
time.
and see, because like I said, I just see something. I'd love to see it benefit the city, or love to see it benefit the people. Otherwise, it's an act that we don't get nothing from it. For
Well,
what purpose is it there?
You get TV service, I guess, where you wouldn't otherwise have cable,
Correct.
but
Correct, but it does. Supposedly, it's stated that they're the only providers via television lines.
no.
No, they're not the only provider.
Well,
They're not exclusive.
and their product is becoming obsolete, and I think we're going to get to a point pretty soon where people aren't going to have cable TV. They're going to get TV through the internet.
Right.
So
It's
that's where
something
we're
to
headed.
look into. Like I said, I don't have an axe to grind with it anywhere on that.
No.
I'd just like to see the city benefit and the people benefit. Competition is great if we can bring in them other parties, AT&T and so on. That somebody might say, "Hey, I'll give your cable bill," because I bet everybody here we're paying a minimum $200 a month for our cable bill.
I mean, we have talked to Verizon, and they're saying it's a lot of money in infrastructure.
So you
That's all
understand
things it's also
the
business
agreement
decisions.
is just for the cable TV. It's not for your internet, and that's part of your $200
Yes.
bill.
Right.
Right.
So,
All right. Well, good luck to everybody.
Thank you, Dean.
Good evening, Tim Carty, Millville. For some reason, my spidey senses were sensing that we're going to be talking about we need more police officers. Spidey senses work good tonight because I have some facts. This is based on the 2016 FBI UCR stats, which, keep in mind, this is before we hired, I have 10 officers, but it was a 12. When you compare the ratio of sworn officers to the population across the state, Millville is 156 out of 467 municipalities, with 380 residents per officer. The average is 440, so Millville's better than average. Since it was mentioned tonight that you'd like to see 120 officers, So if we went to 120 sworn officers, as it was suggested tonight, that would put us at 235 residents to 1 officer, and 49 out of 467 municipalities. Let's look at the cities with the highest crime rate in New Jersey. Millville is 15 of the 30, with the average amongst the cities being 398 residents per officer. Again, we are above average, or we're in the middle of the pack. If we look at the cities with populations between 25,000 and 50,000, we are ranked 11 out of 63. The average of this group is 521 officers per resident. So again, we're above the average. While there are other measures to think about when considering how many officers we need, I can't help but to think that these are a good start to see how many we compare. By all accounts, we're average at worst and above average at best. So the question really is the number of officers really the problem in the city? And I'm going to clarify right now, because I know it's going to come back like it always does when we come up here and talk about the police department. I am not against the officers on the street, and I'm not against the police department. But with these officers, the stats don't lie. So what's really the problem? And I'll leave this, and if everybody wants it, I can share it on Facebook. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
Hello, my name is Tom McGinty, Millville resident, and I just wanted to add to Drew's thing about the Verizon thing. I had a lot of problems with my internet. I use internet all the time. I send photographs all over the country. Have to have good internet, and had problems with Verizon. I had the Verizon reps at my house like a dozen times. They closed out one of the Verizon towers, created all kind of problems with DSL. And I asked about the FiOS coming and so forth. And I was told by a rep, and I can't verify that this is actually the case, but he was one of the top echelon techs, supervisor. He told me that Millville isn't going to get FiOS. They have no plans to put FiOS here. Part of the reason is Verizon's gone to the Board of Public Utilities to get raises for the cost of their services. Not only that, but also to improve infrastructure, new wire, new this, new that. And the Board of Public Utilities said no. So then the other thing was, well, we'll put it in, but we're going to do away with all the copper-based landlines, which some people can't afford to have digital cable, digital phone, mobile phone, whatever. You got a lot of old people based in Cumberland County, whatever, that still have their landline. So they kind of held people's, I guess, BPU's feet to the flames and said, well, if you want us to do this and you're going to make us do it or you're going to push us to do it, we're going to take out all the old copper landlines, and the people, will have to get, mobile phones or find some other means by which of having phone service. I can't verify that. All I can do is reiterate what a Verizon rep told me. So, whether that's the case, but it kind of makes sense that they would try to pull something like that. They're all pretty much mercenaries when it comes to your phone and internet service. So, the other question I have is, you mentioned a marker for the airport. Is that something that a layperson could go over and find out who owns that property and find out who's got the title to that piece of ground and what have you?
We've done everything that we could. and I've got a file that's pretty thick. If you want to see it, you're welcome to.
Okay. Because I was going to say, I've done a few title searches in my day, and
it actually was owned by a former client of mine, so I even have more information, but she passed away, and apparently the will was never probated, and so it's, we sort of hit a dead end. That's what the problem is.
okay. I was like,
So we
if
need
there was
to-
something I could do to go over to the
We
courthouse
need to get
and
something, we've already done that pretty
start
much.
digging, I would have, but it doesn't sound like I can do much better than you guys have done. So,
The other thing, I wanted to respond to your question. I did attend a seminar on behalf of the city, and it was given about the new 5G technology, and the concept of that is that we're going to see pods that are going to be mounted on poles throughout the service area instead of just a few antennas on top of towers. And the reason for that is they really want to accommodate a much greater bandwidth. And that bandwidth will be able to replace the landlines and also to replace cable TV. And I think that's where we're really headed. And that may be one of the reasons why FiOS doesn't want to come here, is they don't want to invest in an obsolescent technology.
makes sense to me. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Tom.
Joe Sutherland, 51 Dorset Avenue. I'm here as the coordinator of the Millville Municipal Alliance Committee. And Joe, thanks for mentioning the pumpkin extravaganza. We'll be out there. We'll be setting up at 9 o'clock. We'll run through the whole thing. Anybody who would like to come out and volunteer, you're more than welcome. We never turn away volunteers. And normally we have hot chocolate, but I heard it's supposed to be like 75 or 78, so we're thinking about going with snow cones instead of hot chocolate. And our programs in the school are going good. And as always, I would thank all of you for the support that you give the Alliance and us to bring these programs to our children. Without you, we couldn't do it. And I wish all of you good luck in the election, and I'll see you next meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Joe. Hey, Don. Commissioner Ennis is going to take care of it. Yep. Yep. Yeah, you can do it right now. New Jersey Motorsports Park has a presentation for our PAL League.
So as you have already heard the mayor express, we have a presentation, a monetary presentation on behalf of New Jersey Motorsports Park. Don?
Two things here real quick. We're talking about Halloween and trunk or treat things. This Friday, we have at New Jersey Motorsports Park our annual trunk or treat, which is free to all Millville and Cumberland County residents 12 and under. So we open up the whole park. Last year we had close to 1,000 kids. And this year we're combining it with, I'm going to get this right because I'll be yelled at if I don't say it right, Paws in the Park. So we have also an event going on with the ASPCA that night. I think, Mayor, you mentioned you were coming out.
That's only because my daughter-in-law wants a dog.
There you go. But we also invite the entire commission and any other city officials to come out and enjoy it. It's a special night. There's just hundreds and hundreds of kids, and they decorate the cars, and then you have to come up and they open up the trunks and you get your treats. But the other thing we're doing tonight, we like to support kids and youth, and as Lynn knows, we do our annual Coats for Kids. That's December 1st this year. You're all invited. You got it on your calendar every year. It's hard to believe this is our 10th anniversary, and that will make nearly 5,000 children that we've made a very special holiday with brand new coats and hats and gloves and mittens. But and that doesn't happen without a lot of volunteers and support from some pretty big corporations around. But tonight we're just presenting a check to Millville PAL for, we do support Millville PAL a lot. We think you're doing a great job with the Explorers and everything else you're doing with the basketball with Rick and Sue Taylor and the whole gang. So you can't cash this check, but this one you can. So congratulations. We appreciate everything.
Thank you, Don. Give it to Sue or Rick Cox. Seeing no one else at the mic, I'll close the public portion part. Oh, okay, one more.
How you doing? Pete Belorio, Millville. Are we allowed to address any of the facts that were already stated previously today?
It's your mic, Pete. Go ahead.
All right. As far as the remark with Dollar General, the commission didn't oppose it and the people didn't oppose it. What we're opposing is where they wanted to put it. That was the issue. They wanted to put it in a school playground just about, where when the ball is kicked, it's going to hit the back of the Dollar General. So I just wanted known that the Dollar General wasn't opposed. Us living in Millville, we want ratables. It was where Dollar General wanted to put it was the opposition. Second, I read a lot on Facebook. A gentleman spoke tonight. I think people got to look a little bit at the Bail Reform Act that started in 2016. We could have 300 cops on duty every day. If you lock someone up for a valid reason and they're out in an hour, obviously that cop, unfortunately, did nothing for the day. He can lock them up 3 times. So the politicians that are in front of us, we have to look higher. So when we vote this time, take a look at the past politicians right now that own halfway houses. It's a very, very marketable resource in this state. So they would rather empty prisons that would lock somebody up for 6 or 8 months, which a lot of me doesn't agree that if you do a drug or have drugs on you, you should go to jail for 7 years. But if you did get locked up for heroin, maybe it would give you a chance to dry out rather than just go back out, get high again, because we give Narcan away like we give candy. So it really doesn't give a person that needs help an incentive to come off the heroin, because we can do the crime that we need to get the money to buy the heroin, do the heroin, get locked up, out in 15 minutes, and now we don't even have to call the cops anymore because we get Narcan. Oh, you're on heroin? Here's more Narcan. So the problem goes a lot higher than just how many cops that we have in the city. If you look at the Bail Reform Act that's happened in 2016 to what's going on right now, the problem is much bigger in Millville. That's it.
Good point, Pete. Thank you.
Thank you, Pete.
Good evening. My name is Natalie Tyson. I am the CEO and founder of Dream Builders Empire Network, an organization located on High Street right now for anybody with ideas, dreams, visions, inventions. The format is to tap into people's creativity and latent talent and to try and assist bringing those dreams into reality. We're trying to make available resources that are accessible, affordable, and of course available to be able to assist our community. We will become more involved in some of this. Some of our members are already present and active. You know, Reynard Gross, who is part of the organization. But we are actively looking to develop, some of the redevelopment with some of our youths and programs so that we can embrace, our young people and allow more facilities. We've been having discussions with some developers as to ideas that we can implement to bring more recreation also to the city. So we're going to be more involved, and hopefully we can contribute, unite and contribute to making Millville a happier, safer place. Some of the things that have been mentioned by you about bringing more business to High Street, we will be embracing that as well. So we look forward to working with you and building, making Millville a city that we would all be proud of. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. So, I stopped by one night there, and they had at least 20 young ladies there, and it was amazing just to see the attention that these young girls gave to the presenters that were there. So I think it's a fantastic thing that you're doing right on High Street, so I congratulate you. Anyone else? I now close the public portion part of this meeting. Comments of commissioners. Commissioner Davis.
Not at this time, Mayor.
Commissioner Sui.
Yes, as I said, the next meeting is November 8th, and that's because November 7th is election day on a Tuesday. So our next regular meeting will be on a Wednesday. So go vote. Progress.
Commissioner Ennis? Yes, just want to revisit the thought about raising taxes. Again, Marcella Shepard she is our chief financial officer, and I've worked with her for 4 years. We hired her to do a job. And generally, when you hire people to do work, the intention is to respect them, or else you would not have hired them. I think that would be kind of a very uneducated decision. If you hire people to do something, you hire them because you believe that they're qualified and capable of doing what you've hired them to do. Over the years, we have dialogued in-depthly about where Millville's headed. And one of the things that I remember back in 2009 or 10, I forget exactly what year that it was, but there was a dramatic tax increase because we couldn't keep up. We could not keep up. And taxes spiked. They went up because we had to do something. Now, I have parents that live in this community, 80 years old. So there's nobody more concerned about the elderly and tax increases than I am. But I have enough sense to know this: if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you always got. If you want change, you have got to do what needs to happen. One of the things that Marcella has recommended, and I totally agree, taxes can be raised incrementally. That means you don't have to wait until you have no choice, but you raise them 1% at a time, 2%, not 8%, not 9%, just enough to keep you above from having to struggle economically. So I wanted to throw that out there because I'm afraid of what's going to happen. That if we don't begin to do things according to what's happening around us economically, we're going to end up with a tax increase, and all of us are going to suffer. Everybody's going to pay. So I would caution you to think with a new thought in terms of raising taxes. Again, it doesn't have to be 5%, 6%. It could be 1%, 2%, incrementally. Even if you raise taxes every time you have a commission, a new commission is every 4 years. If the taxes even changed, well, let's just do a tax increase, 2%. It would be better than doing nothing and just saying, it'll work out down the road. You know what's going to happen? You're going to get a big tax increase eventually. And everybody's going to be looking like, now what do we do? Also, Comcast, in my opinion, they have no one to compete against them. And I know from a fact they're very disrespectful. They're very disrespectful with people because they recognize they have a monopoly, and they're very short. There's no decency in conducting business with the customer. So I don't know what needs to happen. I heard their attorney say some things. I don't know what needs to happen, but I do know that when you have a situation where you have the monopoly, you tend to become very arrogant, and you tend to begin to think that you can do what you want to do to people. So I think that something needs to happen with Comcast. Natalie, I want to thank you because you used a word that I think this city needs to understand. That word is embrace. We must embrace people. And I have fought crime in this city longer than some of you have been paying attention. And I can tell you that the worst thing in the world that you can do is refrain from embracing people. If this city is going to thrive, it will not thrive from refraining from embracing. We must learn to embrace, and we must learn to help people that want to be helped. Natalie, I commend you for your thought and for the energy that you're bringing to the table. Natalie's been attending, and if I could, as we close, we've been having these meetings at the church. It's called NIPIT. And NIPIT is, actually it's a response to Neighborhood Crime Watch, but we're moving away from that word of Neighborhood Crime Watch because we just figured it's time for a change. And Natalie brought some wonderful thoughts last week. But I wanted to say this, for those of you who are interested in getting rid of crime, you need to attend these meetings. Mary Messick has been there. She's been to every meeting because this will be a community effort. I see Marty Brown. He's been to every meeting. I see some other people here that have been to every meeting. As a community resident, you need to make an effort to come to these meetings, because I believe that what we need to combat crime and to fight crime, it won't only be the police department. It's going to take every single one of us in a concerted effort, making a concerted choice that we refuse to allow anyone to come in our city and take over. So these meetings are every Thursday. Thank you, sir. These meetings are every Thursday night, 6:30, at 221 East Broad Street. And again, I think it's a concerted effort. We need every single ward, because that's the objective right now, is not to have one single neighborhood group watch, but we want every ward to have its own cell and really monitoring what's going on in their backyard. So please keep that in mind. Mayor, I thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Perry.
I just want to say we have never not raised taxes up here just for the sake of not raising taxes. We have worked extremely hard to find ways to reduce cost and to find ways to find revenue. And that is why taxes weren't increased. I still believe there's more we can do in that area. I don't believe in just arbitrarily raising taxes without doing the work beforehand. And as a side note, the past commission raised taxes 13 cents. And with that being said, I hope everybody goes out and votes on November 7th. It is an extremely important election this time. There's a lot of decisions to be made. It's going to determine the course of the city for the next 4 years. So it's important that everyone has a say and everyone votes. Progress.
Thank you, Commissioner. Mr. Belluri, I agree with you. The problem with the bail reform is it's not going anywhere. Higher-ups from here over in Trenton decided this is what they wanted to do. They went ahead and hired additional Superior Court judges. They're making courthouses bigger. We're going to build a new courthouse. So I think it's something that's going to be here. And as you know, you're exactly right. You arrest someone for shoplifting or a bag, and they're out on the street. So it's going to be a battle for all of us to do. But I agree with Commissioner Ennis is that we as a community have to come together. I suggest block by block. I don't know if you're going to do it by a section or a ward, but you take over one block and you get those people that have advanced that block to move into the next block with those people and show them how they did it. And that's how you're going to improve crime in this area. Millville needs it. Millville needs it, and we need it now. With that, motion to close?
So moved.
Second. This meeting's adjourned. Thank you for coming out, everyone. Appreciate it.